Hi, I'm Christina.
I'm Maja from
Bookworm
Dreams, and welcome to a new video. So welcome to our September wrap-up. If you don't know, September was filled with readathons, which we participated in. That is, we made lists and we started reading books, but nothing was finished. Some things were finished, but not a lot of them. So we participated. All right, so in September I read 6 books, and out of those 6 books, 2 were science fiction, 3 if you count something, which we will discuss, a science fiction horror one.
Yeah.
1 was literary fiction, and 2 were middle grade.
Okay, so I read 8 books, 2 of which were fantasy, and one were non-fiction, romance, science fiction, middle grade, horror/science fiction is the same book as she read, and 1 mystery with horror elements.
Cool.
That's it.
So let's start.
Yeah.
So I participated.
We participated, mind you. She actually finished.
Not really, because the goal was to read the duology. I just read the 1.
Oh shit.
So we participated in Space Opera September, which is a very cool readathon hosted and created by Thomas from SFF 180. We will leave the links to the announcement, everything, and to for our TBR for this book.
Technically, you could count it as finished because, we could count this as a book battle and I didn't finish, but you did.
Okay.
So,
Good. All right. So basically the goal was to read something in the space opera genre. And there were some book battles that you could do, which we apparently did, but not really. My goal was to read a solo challenge, which was to read a space opera duology or trilogy. And for that, I picked Arkady Martin's Texicalan duology. Don't know how to pronounce it, even though I'm listening to it on audiobook. And I only read A Memory Called Empire, which I really did like. I'm currently now, this is October, reading the second one because I just, what can you do? Work started, slumps, and then I had like 2 weeks of not reading that all. Yes, and also that too. I read A Memory Called Empire, which was so good. I totally get why everybody likes it, and I'm so totally kicking myself for not reading it sooner. Basically, in this space opera, we follow Mahit, who goes to the Texicalan home planet because she is an ambassador for her space station dwelling people, and she is there to sort of see what happened to her predecessor, who hasn't really been back to his home in over 15 years. And then when she goes there, she realizes that he was murdered, and then she gets into a lot of political stuff happening. Basically, as I explained it to her, it's a spacey political thriller, which is so cool. There is a space opera elements because throughout the book there is a sort of looming threat of an alien species that is coming and devouring colonies of the Texicalan Empire. Ooh. And in the second book, basically, it's a sort of a first contact story as well that deals with the problem that is sort of mentioned in the first one. This first one is so awesome because the world building is so detailed, but confusing because the names are kind of different. And she told me that it's better if you listen and follow in the book. So maybe I'll start, but I won't because I'm at 70% of the second one. I'm not gonna go.
Maybe when the third one comes out.
No, it's a duology.
It's a duology.
It's just the 2 books. Well, but let's see. Basically, it's the world building is detailed and awesome, but sometimes confusing. But the first book explores so many interesting themes like imperialism, loyalty, cultural values, which was such an interesting take on space opera and basically space politics in general, and how memory can impact us and define us, because there's a whole memory technology thing that's happening inside the book, but I won't tell you because it's kind of spoilery. Just read it because it's awesome. And that's it for my participation in Space Opera September.
I started reading it, really liked it, just haven't finished it. So, hopefully October wrap-up is when I talk to you about this one. So, I'm gonna start off with 2 books. The first one is my middle grade, and that is Stargirl by Jerry Spinelli. So, I've been hearing Lala from Books and Lala talk about this book, forever. So I had it on audio, and I was like, okay, let's just read it while I walk my dog. John Ritter is the narrator, which was, really cool. And also really confusing because I know Kim and it was difficult to it was middle grade and it was like about a boy who is 14, 15 or even younger, and it was like what? But okay. Anyways, this is the story about Stargirl. So this is a girl that comes into a new school, and we are following our main character Leo, who is infatuated by her because she is basically very different. Like, this is literally a story about a person having being very individual and very different from the norm. She isn't normal. She wears, bright dresses. She carries like a pet rat with her. She celebrates everybody's birthday and comes to them and sings happy birthday. Like, she has this kind of guitar or something. So she's quirky. Okay. I think that's the best word. And in the beginning, I totally hated it. I hated it.
Okay.
But later on, it became more of just. It's a really typical story. I think it really is good for the age range that it's focused on, because it's literally yes. Because it's a story basically about how people's opinions can change about you like that. So basically something happens and Stargirl does something, which is actually completely moral and fine, and it was really a nice thing to do. However, the entire school turns on her. And it's like she goes from being extremely popular to being the outcast, and nobody likes her. And Leo, as her main character, is outcast with her because he is connected to her. I think they start dating or something like that. And throughout the second part of the book, basically you see him struggling to see whether his affection for her can survive him not being in the group and being part of school, but because everybody is shunning him, both of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
What did she do? Is it spoilery?
Yeah, it is.
Then you'll tell me later.
Because I think it's spoilery because from an adult standpoint, she did nothing wrong. Actually, she did something really nice, and caring, and the entire school was like, no, they're the enemy, and it was like, yeah. So in the beginning, I didn't like it, but the plots towards the end and this whole it was quite philosophical in a sense where there's discussion of normality, individuality, peer pressure, and stuff like that, and for that age range it's quite good to think about it. So that was one book that I read. And another book that I read is Don't Call Me Crazy. 33 Voices Start the Conversation About Mental Health. So this is basically not fiction. There's small essays from various authors. Let me see. I can't even read it because it's too small. But they're all yeah, you can't. But there's actors. There's book authors, book writers, and different people you may heard of. And basically they're retelling their experience with their mental health issues. So you have everything from depression, eating disorders, anxiety, what else is there? Agoraphobia. There's such a range of mental issues that's kind of encompassed here that it's very interesting to read about. And you kind of get to see how every person actually experiences this differently, and you can put a general stamp on it. Okay, this is how you experience depression, or this is how you experience anxiety. And it's really a good introduction into understanding better mental health issues, especially if you have maybe somebody who is dealing with it, just to understand them better, what they're potentially going through, or at least hear other people's stories, so you can comprehend better. And I really, really liked it. I didn't even rate it because these are people's stories. This is their life. I don't feel right rating it. But I technically, if I did rate it, I would give 5 stars because it was really informative, from almost a memoir point of view.
Okay, interesting. All right. Well, next book I'm going to talk about is something that we have to read for our book club, which she hasn't read. It's been 2 months already, I think, but whatever. So we had to read Winesburg, Ohio by Sherwood Anderson. And just to have one note here, not for me. It's when you have required reading in high school, and in grade school, and that's that. That's basically, it's a collection of short stories of people that live in a small town, and nothing exciting happens. And just basically we follow these flawed characters and their loneliness, depression, and something. There's a reason I don't read literary fiction, and that book is that. Basically, the only thing I remember from this book, which means I want to have to do some research before a book club meeting, is basically there is a priest who has a crisis of faith because he saw a woman's shoulders. Basically, I think he's like neighbors with this woman, and he basically saw her once while she was changing or something, and he saw her shoulders and collarbone. They had this whole crisis of faith, and he spent like several weeks sitting in his room watching her, basically trying to see her again with her shoulders, and then it was like, no. Yeah, I read it, so it's not your pick. You shouldn't be sorry. Our friend who picked it should be sorry. I'm kidding. No, our book club is kind of it's good because we do read outside of our comfort zones and everything. So, but then you come across something like this, which I know I'm not going to like it.
Yeah.
I am the only one who actually read it from the entire group, other than the person who picked it. So yeah.
Bad me. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next two books I have are, first off, the continuation of my Alien Romances series, the Readathons Warrior series by Julie K. Cohen, and that is Alien Found. So
someone was found by an alien, is what you're saying?
No, he found himself, like something like that.
Okay.
So
self-discovery.
So basically, this is the story of Ruby and Thorne. So again, this whole Readathons Warriors thing is you have women from Earth. So okay. Bit of backstory. Earth was invaded by the Groot. The Groot were then kind of expelled.
I don't know why I'm laughing.
The Groot were then expelled from Earth by somebody else who I can't remember who they are.
Okay.
But they
not
are
the blue guys.
No.
All right.
And they're like kind of, the saviors. However, it appears like there has been this whole backstory where they might be actually working in tandem to kind of conquer the world, you know.
Right.
So, and this third installment is actually delves more into the political side, because basically we have Thorne, who is from Zion. That's why it's called Readathons Warriors. And he was previously like in the military, but since their planet has also been invaded, they kind of fought it off, but there were a lot of casualties. He is now working as a spy.
Okay.
And we're actually following him as he, is spying around, basically. And we have Ruby. So, I love the political plotline in this. I absolutely hated the romance. It felt like, I almost felt like from scene to scene where there were like the romantic scenes, like the kissing and everything, it felt almost like Thorne was not forcing himself on Ruby, but like there was such a disconnect between the point where she's like thinking about something and then he's suddenly kissing her. There was like not like there's no like this moment.
Is it like a lack of communication, or are you missing a point of view?
I'm missing a point of view. I think I'm missing the point of view maybe of Thorne, like how he got to like where he's suddenly kissing her, and stuff like that. And especially because Ruby has been through so much. Like it's not, what are you doing?
I'm going to get the book you have next.
Oh, okay. So basically, Ruby, it's not explicitly said, but basically it's implied that she has been raped multiple times. She has been exploited for like her body, for being a woman, like by multiple owners and stuff like that.
When the people conquered Earth and the other aliens came to deconquer Earth.
Oh yeah,
did the aliens stay?
Yes, and basically women are garbage and basically slaves and stuff. So women are either escaping from Earth, being mail order brides, or are being sold as mail order brides by their brothers or fathers, and end up finding Zions who are very alpha, but at the same time very respectful of their women. So yeah. Anyways, so like the amount of trauma that this woman has like gone through was so jarring in this like kind of some kind of romantic sense, because it was constantly, you know, referred to like, yeah, she went through this, like it didn't feel right. Okay. So unfortunately, yeah, I didn't quite like this one. So there you go. And the next book I have is Queenslayer by Sebastian de Castell. I actually read this on audio, however, Maja has generously offered to show you this beautiful cover and the bag, because like the covers are and like the sprayed edges. Like I would like really buy it just because like they're beautiful. Covers are awesome. So basically, I really like this one. Like it's the fifth installment. It doesn't bear.
Is it the fourth?
The fifth one.
The fifth one.
I only have one more, and I'm done.
Oh my god.
Yes. Are you actually checking if it's the fifth one?
It's the fourth one.
It's the fifth one.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Queenslayer 5.
Oh, Spellslinger.
She forgot the first book.
Sorry.
So, basically in this series we follow Kellen, who is part of the John Tip, which is like a magical tribe. Tribe of people that have magical abilities. They have like fire, water, breath, which is probably air, you know, and stuff like that. And they kind of get these bands on their hands as tattoos as they, you know, kind of spark the magic.
Okay.
And in the first book, help me out here, I even don't remember.
Spellslinger.
Basically we follow Kellen as he kind of, you know, deals with... Is it a spoiler if I say that he has no magic?
It's not a spoiler.
Okay, so basically he does not have magic, unlike all of his other
it's people. Spoiler if you tell them how.
I will not tell. But you basically found out why he doesn't have magic, and then like the story goes on from there. In this one, I actually like that he is much like in the fourth book, being more on his own. Like taking his life into his hands, just being proactive, like just you know, like dealing with stuff without other people's help, and just being smart and intelligent and like, you know, ingenious all by himself. Like you see his character progressing, and I really like that. There was one point where I was like almost crying because something happened, and I was like, no, you can't. You already did something, like, I'm not gonna say in Winesburg, which I was like really upset about. You can't do this right now. Unfortunately, I was wrong. So, but like, yeah, but I really like it, and I like just.
Is that the sister or someone else?
Someone else.
Okay.
All right.
Alright.
But yeah, so that's it. It's really cool. I think it is for like young adults, but it's,
yeah.
But it's, you know, there's a lot of humor. Like there's still so much humor in there. I can't wait to finish this and then start the adult one, because I really like
the adult one's pretty cool.
I love the writing style is awesome.
Okay, awesome. All right, let's talk about our magical readathon and bookopalathons. Did you do bookopalathon or not?
No, I didn't even plan it. I threw the dices and I could fit one book in the prompts I got, and it's like, no, just no. I'm not doing that.
All right, so I was sort of semi-successful in the bookopalathon because I think I threw 6 times and I read like 4 books. 3 books for that one, actually.
That's good.
But when it comes to the magical readathon, I did read 2 books, I read 4, but I did 2 that you need to sort of finish to become a novice for the thingy, Aurelium book school of magic, whatever. So I'll mention first the 2 books that we read together. So the first one that we read, I don't know the prompts for what that was for, but I read it.
The Mist of Solitude, read a standalone.
I think mine Echo Wife was for like a human character or whatever. I don't even remember. But anyway, basically we read Echo Wife. We do have a review, so you can check it out somewhere, by Sarah Gailey. This is a book in which a scientist is having a really tough time because her husband basically cloned her using her own technology to create a sort of Stepford Wife version of her. That is, you know, all accommodating and all like everything that she isn't, and basically left her for the clone. And the clone calls at some point and tells her that the husband died, and then the story goes from there. It's definitely very interesting and very cool, so give it a read. Check out our review. The next thing that I read is a short novella by Tate Thompson, which is called The Murders of Molly Southbourne. Now this is is it horror? Is it science fiction?
I mean,
thing we don't agree on?
I think it's more science fiction with horror elements.
But it wasn't really all that scary. That was my
That's the thing. It wasn't that scary. That's why I think it's more science fiction than horror.
All right. Anyway,
I mean, it's horror in the sense that there's some gruesome scenes, like if you don't like blood and stuff. But like genuine scares is not really.
Yeah, because But anyway, so basically we follow Molly. Molly, whenever she bleeds, her blood creates another version of Molly, like a doppelganger or a clone or whatever. And this doppelganger is normal for like a short period of time, and then tries to kill the original Molly. And basically we follow her story from when she was born to when she was in college and started working as a lab assistant to some dude. Basically, it has a sequel, right?
Yes.
It was very interesting. I liked the attention to details. So like it was mentioned like when she has a period, like what she has to do with the pads and stuff with her blood, and how every time she bleeds, what she has to do, like bleach and clean, and you know what to do with the dead mollies that's, you know, that are around the world, and you know, it's just it was interesting. It was very, very cool, and I'm definitely looking forward to reading the sequel. Do you have anything to add?
Yeah, I actually like the writing style because it was split into like they weren't even chapters, like very short, almost
paragraphs.
Like not like it didn't feel like an entire chapter. I felt like every part, like, you know, like there were parts, you know, and I felt like every part was like just more of like a slice of life of Molly. Like it didn't feel like, you know, you had like a novel and there's like, you know, you start and then it's like it felt like split up, but at the same time very cohesive.
Yes, because the whole thing is sort of framed into like Molly is captured and someone is telling her the story of Molly.
Yes.
So throughout the book, you're trying to figure out, well, who is the real Molly, who is the clone Molly that is listening to the story or not. And like the end was kind of.
I really loved the end.
Yeah,
like,
it was really cool.
Like really good. So like I love this book. Like absolutely loved it. I can't wait to actually read the sequel. It was so good.
All right.
Okay. Oh, now it's me. So I read a short story, which is The Map by. I don't know his name.
Ritter.
William Ritter. Okay, so this is The Map. This is the 1.5 in the Jacoby series. And I love the Jacoby series. I totally recommend it if you haven't like read it or heard of it. So this is the story about a paranormal detective who is basically like and I think they're in the 1900s America, like Sherlock. Like Sherlock Holmes, you know? And we have Abigail Rook, who is his Watson. Okay? And they're like kind of investigating different paranormal murders and stuff. However, in this book, that's why it's called The Map, they're celebrating Abigail's birthday, and she finds this kind of treasure map, and they go on a hunt to find this treasure.
Cool.
And it's just them being their like quirky selves, and it was so much fun, and like they didn't actually, you know, like
did they find the treasure?
They end up going, like they find it, but like it's I can't tell you what happens in the end because it was really fun what happened, but I love that they weren't like completely successful. They had to skip a couple of steps that they didn't know what was gonna happen, but you know, like Jacoby is magic, so like they could move on. But it was really fun. A lot of even shit happened. Like they were in danger and everything, but it was so much fun. Like for such a short story, it was just nice to see them in a different setting, but a really interesting one. So yeah, I really liked it.
All right. Then I read Hollowpox, The Hunt for Morgan Crow. This is book 3 in the Nevermore series. I just remembered when I was reading this book and I was thinking about it, like I keep mispronouncing either the title and the author's name, Jessica Townsend. I always say something else. And the Nevermore, because it's 2 O's series. Basically, we follow Morgan Crow. She is in the first one, unluckiest girl in the world because she was born in a specific on a specific date, there's like a legend that she has to die, that she will die on her 11th birthday. So a day before her 11th birthday, Jupiter North comes from Nevermore and brings her to the city magical city, where she then has to sort of participate to become a member of this wondrous society that is to switch to creation, that is to participate in this sort of magical school to deal with her magical abilities. Now the third one is very
appropriate for today's time.
Yes, because it deals with a pandemic. So in this book, a pandemic is sort of spreading throughout the magical creatures, and basically everything that happened with us in the 2020s happened in this one. So that was like, okay. But what I really like about this one, because I don't remember if this was the same with Harry Potter or not, you can see the church, hear the church, because I live near the church, so you'll listen to the church while I talk about magic. I don't remember if this
Sorry.
I don't remember if this happened with the Harry Potters, but with every book you can see how the character has grown, and how in this one was how she is frustrated with her education because of her knack, which I can't tell you what it is because it's spoilers. Yeah. She is considered to be other, and so there is a difference of an opinion of how to educate her, and so she is very frustrated with that, and she goes how do I say,
she gets ahead of herself.
She gets ahead of herself, and she does more than she's capable of, that she can control. So she gets into trouble in that way. But yeah, I really enjoyed it, and I'm definitely looking forward to the sequels.
Very good. Okay, I'm really looking forward to this one then.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and the last book, finally, that I read is The Taking of Annie Thorne by C.J. Tudor. C.J. Tudor. I remembered. So this was actually one of my 5-star predictions. It wasn't a 5-star, but it was a 4-star.
Okay, cool.
So, first of all, I'm not sure if this is classified as horror, but if it is, I don't think it is horror. Mm-hmm. It's more of like a mystery, because we are following Joe as he returns to his hometown, mm-hmm. where he hasn't been for like over 20 years, because when he was young, like roughly, I think 16, I think he was, something like that, his sister mm-hmm. disappeared for 2 days and returned different and scary and weird. I mean, I think it even says in the back, I was scared of my sister. Mm-hmm. And basically he comes back because somebody sends him like an email saying, I know what happened to Annie and it's happening again. So basically he comes back to stop it, and we are following throughout the book his story, because we're following both what happens like in present time, mm-hmm. when he is back to his hometown. I think it's called Arnhill, and we are following his younger self as what was happening and what led to Annie disappearing. Mm-hmm. And I felt it was, in the beginning, it was very interesting. Then it kind of slowed for like a bit in the middle, and then like the reveal and the end was also interesting. So I really liked it. I really liked it. However, I read some reviews on Goodreads, mm-hmm. and some people said that this was basically a Stephen King knockoff. However, since I don't like Stephen King, I have no bloody idea what the knockoff.
Did they mention the story?
I don't think anybody mentioned, like it was just comments. If you read Stephen King, then you know the plot twist, and it's stupid because it's like the same plot twist. Like, I don't know, like, and I heard, like, I looked at the reviews. Some reviews say like basically C.J. Tudor is all Stephen King's fan fiction, but maybe I prefer Stephen King fan fiction to Stephen King. So
yeah.
But maybe I'm just saying this. Maybe since a lot of people commented it was so similar, maybe if you do like Stephen King, you might not like this because it's similar, I guess.
All right.
But anyways, I really liked it. I felt it was like there was a good enough amount of mystery. There was some supernatural elements which I didn't necessarily think it was needed, because the mystery itself was really just enough.
Okay.
But like, yeah, I really liked it.
All right, and let me talk about the last book I read, and that is Bridge of Souls by Victoria Schwab. So this is book 3 in the Cassidy Blake, I don't know, something like that, Cassidy Blake series, in which we follow Cassidy and her family, her parents, as they go around the world discovering like haunted places and stuff, because her parents are filming a TV show in which they're basically like ghost hunters, mystery hunters and whatnot. So her mother is like the one who believes in ghosts, and her father is like the historian. He tells about the history of the place, and you know, the sort of the logical one in the pair. And Blake is her. Cassidy is the Cassidy is their daughter, who, because when she was younger, she almost died or did die, but then was brought back. She has a close connection to death. She can now see ghosts and speak to ghosts, and she has a ghost best friend called Jacob. And in the first book, they were in Scotland, right?
Edinburgh.
And the second book they were in Paris, and in the third book they are in New Orleans, which I love because I love New Orleans. It's a very fascinating place. I can tell you that with every book, the stakes get higher and shit gets scarier, which I'm always surprised when middle grade is freaking scary, because we read some middle grades before, and I was like, why is this...
Arden.
Yes.
Catherine Arden.
Why is this so scary? So yeah, definitely gets scarier, and definitely gets more interesting, and the sort of world building gets more complex and everything. But yeah, I really liked it, and it was a fun read, and definitely looking forward to the sequels. So yeah.
Are there more?
No.
There's gonna be more books? I thought it was a trilogy.
Well, it kind of ended like on a...
Cliffhanger?
Not a cliffhanger, but it was like there's room for more. Is it
Okay.
a trilogy?
I don't know. I just figured it was, but I
have
don't
no
know.
idea.
Okay.
I mean, did they mention? I don't know.
Do you know?
I'm trying to think if they mentioned that if they were going somewhere else later.
But I don't think they mention in other books that they're actually going somewhere later. Okay, never mind.
We'll see. Anyway, it was a cool book, definitely. Yes. Definitely give the trilogy a read.
Yes. That's it.
Yes.
We're done.
Oh my god.
If
so
you've stayed until now, kudos to you. Like, you know, give yourself a thumbs up, you know, like, really. Okay, so if you have any comments, you know, please share them down below about the books we've mentioned. Have you read them? Did you like them? Do you want to read them? Like, you know, just talk to us down below.
Oh yeah, there is a bunch of links in the description box pertaining to World Matters, so give them a look, check them out, like, share, subscribe, right?
Yes, press the bell button if you want to get notifications whenever we post new videos. Thank you so much for watching.
And we'll see you in the next one.
Bye.
Bye.